evening, good evening, good evening. Good evening, Wes.
Good evening, Yann. How are we?
We are optimistic, relieved for a change, sort of weirdly. You?
I am not stressed anymore.
Nailed head. Yes. Good evening, everyone joining us. Thank you for coming on to follow Everton on Friday night because it's Friday. It is the end of the week. And, plenty of things out there. You could be getting some drinks in, but thank you for joining us on Follow Everton as we do the pre-match build-up for this evening's delightful white-hot fixture from Kenilworth Road.
Which Sky will be absolutely livid with because it was obviously pre-planned as a relegation showdown and they'll be wondering now what the hell they did.
As always, Ryan will castigate, castrate, and various other things to me if I don't do the usual whole like and subscribe and hit the little button, the notification, get all the videos that we do, and we'll be in your eyeballs and sharing the misery and joys and highs and lows. So, are you excited? Do you think we've got 3 points in the bag this evening, then, Wes?
Like it says under me little headline there, mate. The misery beneficiaries need a doing. Because we owe them one this season after them doing us twice this season in the league and the cup.
Yep.
And moaning about how many points we did and didn't get and stuff like this. It's like, bye-bye, back to the championship you go.
I mean, yeah, it is looking pretty bleak for Luton and the teams that, okay, when you look at what points we should be on, we should be in 12th. And you look at that and it's relevant when you look at the table, right? Oh, don't even get me started because I feel like I'm tempting fate. Everyone out there knows exactly what I mean because, we've won 12. We've conceded 30. Sorry, we've only scored 37. So, okay, we've got a bit of difficulty scoring, but we've only conceded 48 compared to Luton's 77. But they managed to score in like every single game.
Yeah, I mean, they do score goals, but they ship a lot of goals. They haven't got the best defense, but we can play with a bit of freedom tonight, can't we, mate? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That the monkey's off the back, and we can go there. Go on, mate.
That's what Rob Edwards said in his press. I don't know if you saw it. He's he's quite a likable guy for what or he seems to be at face value.
He's a cop-out, though, isn't he?
Sorry,
he's a cop-out, isn't he?
But that's the thing. That's what makes it, well, up until recently, Klopp's been a reasonably, you can't necessarily dislike him other than, for being Liverpool manager. And even if he's a red, he seems to be, he's not a dislikable person other than that.
No, no.
But he did point out that they know how to beat us and they have done, as you say previously, but then obviously Lockyer, all best wishes to him. He scored in one of them. Mikalenko's not there, and he's off. He's out, and he scored an own goal. Calvert-Lewin's the only sort of goal scorer, and Harrison. So we've got an advantage on previous form in terms of players on the pitch that have scored.
Yeah, but the 2 times that they've done us this season, we was under pressure. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And now the pressure's not there. The only pressure as such is to carry on moving up the table and try and get as many points as we can because obviously now we've heard this, the club approaching this liquidity company that specializes in liquidity and stuff like that.
The stress debt,
yeah. So because it could be just to restructure debts, But obviously, the more points that we get, the more money we get from the Premier League, the further we are up the table. So
just
go on, mate.
Yeah, no, I mean it is a valid point, but then I think you could. Well, this is going to risk going off into the whole territory of VAR, and I mean just to, there's everything going on. It's all reaching ahead, as you say. Sky will be pissed off that this isn't some sort of decider. Yeah, I'm wondering, we've got a referee who's not issued a red card in his Group 1 career this evening.
Who is the ref?
A guy called Tim Robinson, who, oh God, where have it? I've got it here, right? He refed us for the Brighton game in November that we drew 1-1, and the Newcastle game that we won 3-0 back in December. But yeah, but the thing is, though, his previous form against us is he likes giving fouls against us and not many for us. But the same is true of Luton. But it could also be symptomatic of the fact that, relatively, if you're going to boil it down to the basics, teams who are at the lower end of the table are going to foul more because they're crap, and that's reflective of their position in the table.
Yeah, and the fact of the matter is, Luton are down in the bottom of the league, and they've been constantly down the bottom of the league. Yeah, ourselves and Forest have had points deductions, but yeah, for most of the season, Luton have stayed below us. So it goes to show you the standard of the team that they are. They do have a little go, and they can play football, but ultimately they've took a step up in class, and they have to be at their very best, and seems to be kind of mediocre for them to get results.
And not only that, I mean, we have to acknowledge that they lost Tom Lockyer, and they've had some pivotal, or quite important injuries to players that have been fundamental to their game plan to basically try to either park the bus or play out a draw or not concede as many goals. And that's why they have been unlucky in a way, because they haven't played the worst football that you've seen from promoted teams.
No, not by any stretch of the imagination. You know what I mean? They do play some nice stuff, and obviously a lot of it goes through Barkley in midfield, who's been kind of the linchpin for them this season. But by all accounts, he doesn't want to sign a new contract, and he'd be moving on as a free agent in the summer. Now, wherever he moves, it could be back to Everton, and I wouldn't say no at this present moment in time because of the way he's playing.
Before we touch on that Barkley sort of things, sorry, I've been a bit lax with the comments today. Thank you for joining us, guys, and thanks for all the hellos and stuff. I do appreciate it.
Yeah, we haven't even mentioned the team, have we?
I know several of you, because obviously it came out not 8-9 minutes ago. Mr. Blue Skies, I think, was the first in there. Oh yeah, there you go. Pickford, Young, Branthwaite, Tarkowski, Godfrey, Garner, Decore, Harrison, McNeil, and Calvert-Lewin. Basically identical apart from Chamiti from the last. And, and as you said previously, when we played Luton, at that point, I think we'd only beaten Doncaster and drawn against, you know what I mean? We were in a bit of a dire situation, so it wasn't great. I do believe at this point it might be that is muted his mic, because I know he's got some stuff going on there.
I'm back. Oh. I'm back in the room.
Okay, cool.
I got it before the dog went berserk.
All right, Paul McKenna there, and you're back in the room. Yeah, so there is that, right? Who was it you said before? Peter Duggan said Stuart Atwell isn't involved in officiating. Well, I'm not sure who's the fourth official and the linesman and stuff, but it is Tim Robinson and David Coote on VAR, who VAR'd the Burnley game a month ago.
Didn't he? Yeah, he was on VAR the other week, wasn't he? Yeah.
He VAR'd us. He VAR'd our game against Burnley, the Man United game, the 2-0 loss, and the Brighton 1-1 back in February. Not the Brighton 1-1 that Tim Robinson. Oh God, yeah.
Gary Duffy was asking if Robbie's been sacked. No, he's on holiday, mate. He's away. His last day today. He's away. He's in Belgium. But I'm not sure whether he'll be back next week for the Sheffield United game, because I think he's got something on that weekend. But he'll be back here with Stadler and Waldorf will be back on together for the Arsenal game.
If he doesn't have anything on, he's forbidden from going on camera in accordance with our sort of watershed policy. Yeah, like I said, ignore the ref. But I mean, even a Liverpool fan has pointed out how there, it's not just Everton fans saying it, and what more corroborating evidence than our most bitterest rivals. The refereeing, especially the VAR appointments of in fixtures, that it doesn't factor into what like contextual rivalries and the positions of other teams and the fixtures. But also worse than that, we end up with a pool of referees that end up in smaller cliques of each representing or failing to referee, certain clubs and fixtures. And so they end up with, I mean, for years, I don't know about you, but maybe I'm going back a few years, but there was a whole period of 3 or 4 years where Lee Mason just absolutely, like, there were 40,000 people that looked at him as if they wished he could drop dead for consistently in Goodison for 2 or 3 years. Was it not the case? Anyway, sorry.
Yeah. No, I mean, there was a reason why he got legged from the VAR, wasn't he? Because he's a rubbish ref and he's a rubbish VAR ref. So it tells you everything about him, doesn't it? And obviously speaking to Robbie, he knew Lee Mason quite well and was not very highly speaking of him. You know what I mean?
I wouldn't want to speak on anyone else's behalf. I am being informed by the legal team.
So we've got some questions that people are asking here. Chris Peacock, 3 wins our best run this season. No, it's got to be 4, hasn't it? The 4 we got after the 10 points.
I'd rather not talk about our runs of how long we've gone with.
Well, we got 4 wins on the bounce, but we didn't. We won 4 out of 5, wasn't it? Just recently, because we got hammered by Chelsea, but which we want to forget about. But then we won the one before that, and then they won the next 3, didn't we? After that, so. But I think we won the 4 on the bounce, didn't we? We beat Newcastle and all that. Vincent Kompany's still Burnley manager as well.
For now.
Yeah, and people are saying they'd like to see Burnley stay up, and they've got more than a chance of staying up. You know what I mean? But they've got some tough games. I think their last game of the season is Burnley Forest. Oof.
Yes, that is the game that all the pundits and everyone following the drama of it, the spectacle, is going to be wanting it to be to the wire, last minute controversy. Yeah,
it's going to be certainly going to be an interesting one. That.
Sorry.
Yeah, did you read them? Come on, mate. Did you read about that Clattenburg resigning?
Yeah, that was. I mean, okay. So he said what? Because he's caused unnecessary friction. But I do agree with his position in principle. Absolutely, football clubs should have this. There should be liaisons. But I don't think that they went about it in the right way, and I don't think that being embroiled in the situation they are with the
From what I've read, the WhatsApp messages that have come out, apparently, was that the owner, Marinakis, after he complained about the penalties and this, that, and the other, the message he got from Marinakis was, basically, in so many words, what's the point in you? Which we've all been asking for years in the Premier League.
Yeah. But I mean, the issue for me, okay, right. There's clearly the ongoing controversy regarding will they make the VAR transcript or audio public, or is it private? Because it's not been made publicly available, has it?
Yeah, from Forest.
Yeah.
There was only one that was made public, and that was the last one where it was a penalty.
No, sorry. Yeah, no, I meant all of it to see what the whole referral process is, because for me, right, clearly we benefited in that one instance out of 3 that Forest are claiming, right? But so there's the third instance. Now, I'm not trying to wangle any responsibility out of this, but I'm just saying that I don't know what you guys think about this, but had there been like clear communication, if there's audio like there is in like American football, they explain the decisions, or rugby when it's over there, or cricket and it's there, that would introduce an element of control. Now, if Ashley Young, for example, like many other players, feel like the referee doesn't have control of this, and then they end up, there's a lack of match control, so the players feel like they have free reign. So what that smacks of is, look at examples throughout the season when Everton and plenty of other teams have benefited from strange decisions that go against them, like okay, for instance, like Kanate and the second yellow card that we could have had that's been a red, but we've had fouls against us that have been given as free kicks to the other team, but you don't have the correct use of VAR, like using it in the build up to check if there's an offside for a corner, and then a team will score from the corner, and it feels like there's an element of cowardice in facing the real issues with VAR, that they just trot out this like you explain, like they explain the VAR decisions and they don't contextualize it. They talk about that one Nottingham Forest and they say, oh, this and the side effect is it vilifies us in that one game, but it doesn't look about how it affects so many teams across all of the season with these silly decisions. And it's almost like cowardice. That's what makes me feel like a lot of sports reporting is just reporting. It's not journalism, because they don't reflect on this. Oh, anyway, I've gone off on a.
From what the rumors that are going around from next season is that the ref is gonna speak through the grounds like tannoy system and explain the decisions of what he's come to. Now, that's kind of giving you a bit of transparency, but it doesn't give you transparency as to what the VAR ref is going through in Stockley Park. Do you know what I mean? Because when all's said and done, whether we like it or not, the games are being refereed from a porter cabin in Stockley Park, being re-refereed, aren't they? And that's the thing. Teams can go up, under, or down based on their VAR decisions. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like it's a well-known fact that a certain Mr. Oliver, initials M, hates Everton. You know what I mean? And he's been seen coming out and saying, "I hope they get relegated," or words to that effect. And actually coming out and saying that he hated us. Do you know what I mean? He shouldn't be allowed to do that, should he? As a Premier League referee.
No. I mean, the frequency with which VAR intervenes or makes decisions that we as fans and spectators to the sport talk about, these decisions that have very real, or the potential to very real impact on the outcome of these matches. Doesn't that tell you that either VAR or its implementation is not fit for purpose, or the standard of refereeing is so bad that then it pits VAR against the referees, and then it will undermine the referees if it's constantly finding them wrong? Because it's so frustrating the number of times at Goodison that you'll see a linesman that's not kept up with play. Okay, you can joke, it will benefit us in the second half. They don't keep up with it. They don't flag for offside, and then it's run through with the goal, and it just.
Yeah. The worst thing about it for me is that for years there was refereeing mistakes. We all hold our hands up and say referees made a mistake, but you're also sort of like, well, the human, they only get to see it once, and officials made mistakes, and you think, it balances itself out over the season. But now with VAR, like, it doesn't. They're even getting decisions wrong with VAR.
Yeah, well, you know about the fan forum letter to Howard Webb a couple of months ago, don't you? Yeah. And the response, or lack of, you may as well have just wiped his arse with it and sent it back, because so it wouldn't surprise me. Maybe I'm being Mr. Cynical here, but come on, the tweet and the deleted article about pending further. They're gonna. What are we gonna be? 13 points safe, so they magically pick 14-point deduction.
Yeah, that's just it, isn't it? It's like, now I don't know I don't know what the situation is this season with regards. Obviously, the appeal is still ongoing, and we're supposed to be hearing what Forest are going to, and rumours have it they're going to get 2 points back, which, to be perfectly honest, is absolute smack in the face for all Evertonians. If they get 2 points for an overspend of more than what we did, it's just like Everton should get
And
the
we've
2
been
points
punished
back.
twice, or there is a period of overlap.
But they should what's name it if that's what they're going to do, Jan. Then the simple fact of the matter is they should scrap any points the second time that they give us and give us no points at all.
The whole
But it won't happen.
The whole thing is ridiculous to have a sporting impact on non-sporting things when there's finances. I mean, Everton have a case of exceptional circumstances. Forest clearly have a case of exceptional circumstances. The principle of doing good business. The whole thing is there's a complete mismatch between the purpose of some of the rules and the other rules, the purpose of punishment. It's just it's a complete shambles. And as our fellow Evertonian or Everton supporting colleagues, John Blaine and had Sam Cuthbert on his channel. It's a fantastic thing where they took where this barrister talks about how the rules being stress tested. He puts it under legalese speak, and it's fantastic. Breakdown of it. Obviously, we have Mike on to talk about the finances and policy side of what's been going on, and that was a good show to watch if you're out there. We love our fellow Evertonians. Yeah,
I rewatched that. That was very, very interesting. Obviously, he's very, very knowledgeable in all things finances. Mike works in the uni, doesn't he?
Yeah.
A big shout out for the big Tony Smith while we're at it, mate.
Yes. So yeah, I mean, Luton have got pretty much their whole defence is out, apart from whoever sort of shoestrings it out at each match. Yeah, Kabore is out. Amari Bell, Dan Potts, Ned Sanderson. They're all still out. So yeah, they've had the same.
They've had a long list of injuries this season. You know what I mean? And they've had to cope with that. But then so have a lot of other teams. The fact of the matter is they've got about 2 or 3 decent players in the whole team, and they're carrying the rest of the squad. And you can pretty much say that for Everton as well, really. You know what I mean? We've got about 2 or 3, but our players turned up when they needed to turn up.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
So it looks like both teams, barring a potential check. Okay, Everton have got DCL instead of Chamiti, and there's a potential that Adebayo is going to be up front with Morris, possibly, or not a 2, but somewhat doing something with maybe I don't know who it is. Anyway, but it'll be Chong or Clark, or maybe they'll jiggle around some of the formations, but mostly unchanged. What was their score against Wolves? I've just had a blank.
Who's?
Luton. The last game they played against Wolves, was it?
Was it Wolves?
I
don't even know. Actually, I did. Did I watch that game? I think I might have watched that game. Yeah, 2-1 to Wolves.
There we go. I thought it was 2-1. Yeah. Well, I didn't want to put out fake news.
In other news, right? Have you heard this rumor that's going around that Aston Villa are trying to ask the Premier League to up the amount of profit sustainability for the last season of these rules? I wonder why that could be. That's not going to happen, is it? Do you think that's going to happen? Surely that can't happen. If the Premier League agree to that, that is absolute ridiculous. Absolutely stupid. Because you can't enhance the range of how much you're allowed to lose for that season because it suits one team.
See that?
Yeah.
They're just moving them just a little bit. Yeah.
But I mean, it's come off Sky Sports News transfer talk. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, if that's true, surely the Premier League can't agree to that, yeah. But I wouldn't put it past them.
I mean, Villa, of course, voted to one of the teams that are rumoured to have voted against the, one of the three teams that voted against the
spending cap.
Yeah, Chelsea abstained. City, Villa,
Man United,
and United. Okay,
yeah,
that's weird.
Yeah. So, and also another news.
Yeah.
Also another news today. I was speaking to a customer of mine in the back of the car, working on a certain stadium being built not so far away from here. Now, he told me that there's at least another year's worth of work on that for the laggers alone. So therefore, this stadium is not going to be getting handed over in January, fully completed. Now, also what I've been informed by a good source is that Everton are designing the hospitality boxes and stuff themselves, which haven't been done yet. And you know why that is? Because of the takeover. Because whoever takes over the club is going to want to design them themselves. So they're stalling on that. So I've been told by a good source that if they rush the stadium, it might be ready by August next year. If not, it's going to be September. So this final year that we all seem to think that we're going to have a Goodison Park might be a final year in a couple of months. How do you like them apples?
I really don't know how to. I mean, obviously, not to distrust you or your source or anything. As people have said, Gary said it looks finished. Yeah, and then I don't know. Forgive me for maybe sounding naive, but I can't imagine that more than a year to go that they can exactly predict. Oh, if we rush, it'll be ready a month ahead. You know what I mean? It sounds a bit sus, that. And also, there's been a lot of speculation on social media from people that I will put this as a self-contained little sentence, and all I will say is there's been a lot of speculation that I've heard second, third hand from multiple sources that prominent persons, have been spreading strange information that, and the only purpose for which would be if they had a personal or a vested interest. And what they seem to be doing is undermining what, at that moment, seems to be the best course of action for the club, for a speculative other course of action that people don't, that is unclear. So I don't really know who to trust, and I just wait and see to see what happens. Does that make any sense to you? And I hope it makes sense to people watching.
It kind of does. But also, just going back to this comment from Owen, I won't try pronouncing your surname. Glendower, is it? Glendower. Yeah. Owen Glendower. We don't even have the money due for stadium payments. It's going to be delayed 100%, right? Now, what Owen says is 100% true. Because all the contractors were called into the office just the other day by Lang O'Rourke and were told Everton haven't paid the money this month for the stadium to be built. They owe us 20 million. That's when the 16 million got paid.
Yeah.
Right. So we're still paying for the stadium to be built. Now people seem to think that the stadium's paid for. It's not. paying it on the Never Never Everton, where the or somebody is now, according to some sources, the 16 million never came from 777. So
It came
you
from
can
what
make
their. It came from their debt. Sorry, their yeah.
yeah. So whatever the agreement that was, the 16 million which was paid was per the agreement that they'd signed up for, whatever. Well, yeah, that was basically to cover the cost. So because some of the all the workers were thinking about downing tools and walking off site because
I mean,
the Lango Rock hadn't been paid.
I mean, it is frustrating. I do think I think that there should be payment adjustment contracts for whether things, whether you have projected timescales, and if it's stuff that's to do with work speed and the contractors used, because then I don't know. I've worked for a company before that shelled out millions up front for a piece of software that never got developed. Like, it didn't fully make it even into beta testing, and yet they paid this company millions, and it
Oh, it
seems
wasn't for the post office, was it?
No, genuinely shouldn't joke about that, because it is. I mean, yeah, I know what you mean. Now, yeah, no, but I don't. That is something that's disgusting, and people need to go to prison for that, because they knew and they covered up, and people took their own lives and they went to prison and destroyed families and people's lives and livelihoods. Is horrific. People need to go to prison for that. They knew. They all knew.
So Roberto saying, I'm talking Toffee because his brother's on there, said he's flying. We'll wait and see. We wait and see. If it's finished in handed over at the end of this year, then my source was talking absolute wham. So we'll wait and see there, Roberto. Right. On to score predictions.
The thing is, what I will do to put a pin in that is, there's always an element of people who like misery, who like things to be, look, I told you it's going to be this, and I can't be arsed with it anymore. It's just, it's not you. I'm just saying the people who come out there and say, like, for instance, someone who got in your, like the guy who got in your taxi. Oh, is he really this? Is he a blue? Is he actually somebody? You know what I mean? Oh, just anyway.
No,
back to
but he's not the only person I've spoke to who's working on there that said the same thing, that it's not going to be ready. But like I say, Roberto says I'm talking wham, so we'll wait and see.
Yeah, all right.
Oh. Anyway, score predictions, Yann.
I am terrified that we will be typical Everton and do what we always do. Okay, so we have trouble scoring, but we don't concede. Luton score in every game, but they hemorrhage goals as well. This referee hasn't given a red card. So I'm kind of wondering if there's going to be 2 red cards in the match and it'll finish 0-0. No, I'd like to see us win 2-0, provided that we don't let them, because obviously Ashley Young and Ben Godfrey are going to be fullbacks and not natural positions. So I don't want them to be overloaded at the back, and then like Barkley comes sort of steamrolling in. I don't want us to see us sit back too much and allow them to do that, and then us concede free kicks, because we're better than that, or I hope we are. So I'd like to see a comfortable 2-0.
Yeah, I'm going 2-1 because I think they'll score against us. I hope not, because I'd like to see Pickford get the Golden Gloves. But I think that they do score goals, and their fans will be right up for it. It's a stadium not unlike Everton, and as to the point that it's a bit of a shed. Like, you have to go through someone's front door to get through to the ground. But it's very sort of, the pitch is close to the stands, if you get what I mean.
Obviously, the bear pit atmosphere of like Stamford Bridge, or
yeah. So you're right up next to the fans, and they do.
Is it a bit like Craven Cottage?
Yeah, a lot like Craven Cottage. But like I say, you know, they do generate a decent atmosphere there. But they've kind of like, their fans are kind of like doing what Everton fans have done the last 3 years, and get behind the team and try and drag them through out the mire. But I just don't think that the team's good enough for even the fans to drag them out of that. You know what I mean?
I mean, like Rob Edwards did say in his presser, he said that the pressure is more on them now than us. So maybe he's concerned that we might play with the freedom, the liberation of not having the pressure now that we're sort of safe. Although we did point out that they have, well, they know they can beat us, but that was at a different period when as you say, we've acknowledged our situation. But he said we do work hard, and we weren't just getting the rewards that we deserved, and eventually we have done, as Sean Dyche has said it, because his presser was lovely when he was talking about the way he talks to the players is the way that he talks to his son. Sorry, it's just been a really interesting week, I think, in terms of football.
Yeah,
bang on.
But I think with Dyche as well. I think a lot of his. I don't watch his pressers, I'll be honest with you, but some of the stuff that I've sort of gleaned from it was the fact that he was. Jan's done his own work there. Am I cutting you off early and you've done all your own work? But yeah, some of his stuff that I gleaned from it was the fact that he was basically sold a different version of Everton to what he got.
Yeah.
And reading between the lines, I don't think even he expected it to be as tough as what it was or what it is.
It's the modern equivalent of it, or it's the sporting equivalent of Fire Festival, isn't it? You know, he bought a ticket, was told he'd have like a VIP tent, and he gets here and it's like a Kraft cheese sandwich with no butter on the bread. But yeah, Owain said quite rightly, oh God, yeah. You should watch the press with Dyche. It was lovely because he was talking about that music video that he's been in.
Oh, the Blossoms.
Yeah. And I mean, and tracksuit versus suit, and how it's annoyed them. But
tracksuit Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, like I say, I don't really watch his pressers because I find out most of the stuff that he said on social media.
The stupidest questions.
Yeah, I know, and I don't know where they come up with it from, but
like that question when he was asked about the finances for next season, and he's like, "Look, you can see his head. Like, what's he going to say? I know exactly the same as you guys know because possibly I might be one of the first to know, but I'm pretty sure that it'll already be in the bloody news because you've got every person out there trying to sell the story. I don't know. There are talks ongoing, but even if it was, I'm not going to speculate because it's not my place, and I might get the fucking sack. Leave me alone. Let's talk about football. Go away. I like tracksuits. I like music. Fuck off. Sorry.
Yeah, is it like nobody knows what the transfer budget's going to be until the takeover's done.
Do you think Pickford doesn't get the recognition that he deserves? And isn't it a surprise he hasn't left by now from a blue, or at least?
Yeah, because like, what did he sign? A 5-year? He signed a 5-year contract extension, didn't he? Not so long back. And you're like, was it a surprise that he hasn't left already? Well, no, because he's under contract.
Yeah, but not just that, right? But obviously, like, he's not going to go to like City, United, Arsenal, Spurs, those kind of teams. So he's going to go, and who's going to want him? Because teams that he would go to that would be a step up in terms of goalkeeping for them are, well, I would say they're not top 4, 5, 6 teams. And therefore they're not going to want to pay the premium to, it's not worth it for them to pay what we'd want to replace it.
Yeah.
And he's settled.
Peter Duggan's going for his usual high-scoring game. A 4-5 to the Blues. DCL hat-trick, Tarkowski off a corner, and Zobanochimiti to get one off the bench.
Is that because
Peter's
Rob
Uggin.
Edwards said it'd be lovely to start 4-0, 4-0 up after 4 minutes? Yeah.
Peter's Uggin's always full of optimism, isn't he? You know what I mean? But going back to going back to the derby though, Jan, right? Do you think the derby this season was our Brighton moment?
Brighton moment?
From last season.
What Brighton moment? Oh, the 4-0.
5-1, wasn't it?
5. Sorry, yeah, because we got beat 4-1 at home.
Yeah,
yeah,
5-1 wasn't it last season?
Yeah, but when we got them back for I think it's certainly we've spluttered. We've shown a lot of promise, and then the resolve sort of cracked when it's like, oh, points deduction, oh, more points deduction, and even now that we're mathematically safe, we're not mathematically safe. It's a piss take. It's so to call it any kind of moment, I don't feel that there's any relief. I feel that there's no closure, there's no finality to any of this until the whole process or the appeal or whatever is over. Because what? Is there going to be a third fucking... Sorry.
Yeah, because by the sounds of things, this appeal's got to be going into the final week of the season because they want it done and dusted before the season ends. So, like I said, it's imperative that, at least out of the next 3 games, we pick up 6 points, really. Because we're not really going to get anything against Arsenal down there. You know what I mean? So this game and the Sheffield United game is imperative that we get to 6 points because then it's unless they give us a 20-point deduction back on top of what they've already give us, then it's impossible for them to relegate us.
Well, yeah.
But yeah, that's the aim of the game is to sort of get these points in the bag, and because when all said and done, like what I say about the Brighton from last season, nobody expected like that was our probably like in that run in, that was probably the game we looked at where we thought we're not getting nothing from that game away at Brighton, and we went and turned them over. And we also kind of expected the same at the derby.
It was that yes, I see what you mean, because that Brighton moment for me, you're right, because I called it reminiscent of you referring to this as the Brighton moment. Could it be the derby, the Brighton moment? But for me, it's the terminology of the Newcastle moment when we had all that extra time and Iwobi ran down, and that for me was a turning point in that season.
Yeah,
that's when the momentum started to.
Yeah, but like I said in the derby, like running up to that game, obviously everybody knew that our game in hand over our relegation rivals was Liverpool, and all the teams that are around us would have been going, well, that's all right. They've got Liverpool. Do you know what I mean? And then we go and win it, which they would not have been expecting. Do you know what I mean? So
right, and the most wonderful thing about that was the second goal. Right, you looked at the referee and he stood there, and it's almost like his brain couldn't compute that I can't disallow this. It was just, I don't know whether that was anyway. Right, it is 7:45.
It is.
That gives you, me, and the entire world, and this grandma, and the dogs, and whatever, time to put the kettle on, go to the loo.
Yeah. Rod's saying there we should do a watch along, but obviously Aussie Chris, with it being behind time in the States, is in work, so we can't do a watch along, unfortunately, on this occasion. But he'll probably be doing one next week, won't he, against Sheffield United, and probably definitely against Arsenal.
Yeah, I'm just not looking forward to the Arsenal game. We always play them at the end of the season now. Yeah.
No. Well, and the thing on that note, up
Just
the
heard
fucking
Mabsy chime into
Toffees.
the, just saw a notification. Mabsy chime into the group chat there about Mark Clattenburg. I believe you lost your job at Goodison Park. You lost your job.
Yeah, just seeing that, yeah. Right.
Right.
Let's go and sit and watch and relax and watch this game, mate, because it's nice to just sit there and just enjoy a game, innit?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Rather than just like fucking biting your nails down to your elbows. That's what we like to see, mate.
All right, mate. I will see you very, very soon. Thank you to everyone. Everyone.
Yeah.
I really appreciate it as well. Even I think there's a couple of faces in here who aren't the regular Blues, but for all the regulars, all the new faces, thank you for joining us. We do watch longs, just not this evening. But yeah, up the fucking Toffees.
Up the fucking Toffees.
Catch you soon. Oh, are you doing the reaction, Wes?
No, I'll be in bed. I'm up at 3:30 in the morning.
Oh, excellent. In a bit.
Bye-bye.